In this video, we have some fantastic communist engineering. It's the Lada Riva. Hubnut, sponsored by Lancaster Insurance. So yeah, the Lada Riva. This is a very late one, 1993, late by UK standards. They kept making them for many years. It's based on the old Fiat 124, I believe. FSO built the 125, and this is the estate, which I think looks particularly delicious. I like how it looks like the saloon lamps have just been turned through 90 degrees. They haven't, they're completely different. And nice simple rear wiper. Magnificent. So it's a 1500 1.5e catalyst. When it was new, this car would have had a computer controlled carburettor, which, as I know from the Rover 800, is not necessarily a good idea. There goes Ford Focus with very horrible blingy lights. My mate has just converted this one to fuel injection, because they did fuel inject them right at the end of UK sales. And actually, I'm not sure they did these, but they did do the Niva, so you can fit all those items. For a 1990s car, it looks very old-fashioned. You consider this is the same sort of age as the Skoda Favorit, which people enjoyed ever so much. But the Skoda Favorit was a much more modern design. This is a 60s car, and it looks it. It's got some character in places, some nice gaffer tape to keep the wings solid. Body colour on this side, in fact. Because they do rot in places. It is what they do. No headlamp wipers because it's a fairly lowly spec, so that's a bit disappointing, but some rather attractive steel wheels, I think. So we should probably take a look inside. Yeah, it's all a bit, it's solid, but refined probably isn't the word. And I have no idea what this is. Is that driver's side heat adjustment? That's height adjustment rather. That's proper solid engineering. But yeah, it's all a bit dated in here, but look, 20,000 miles from new. And the switchgear is all a bit old-fashioned. There's the rear wiper, heater blower, heated rear window, lights variously over here. That looks like illumination, or is that height? That might be height. Oh no, that one's your height. Look, there's your height. That must be dashboard illumination. Hazard lights. Proper noise. I'll show you something quirky in a minute as well, once I fire her up. But yeah, no stereo, so that is lowly spec indeed. And I suggest that it might only be a mono, even if you get it. So naturally we've got keep fit windows, keep fit steering, very Fiat stalks for lights. From what I remember, it's the same as the Dacia. Dacia has the same stalks. One position is side, head, and main. We'll find out which ones at some point. I love this period aftermarket enlarged mirror with digital clock. That's truly astonishing. I do like that. I like how the sun visors actually have a molded plastic piece to go and hide in. I love the perforated vinyl, and you know, quite nice velour seats. Maybe not quite velour, but it looks like the rear seat folds. We should probably take a look at that actually. So we'll go and do that next, and then we'll have a peek at the engine. Well, plenty of space in the back. I've got plenty of headroom. I've got enough knee room behind me for comfort. The seat is very soft. You almost sank into it like a bed. But yeah, could certainly be worse back here. Let's have a look at the boot. Let's find which of these keys does the boot. I'm going to have a guess at the small one. No, maybe that's fuel. Let's try the big key. Remember in the olden days when we had to use keys? No, that isn't working. A bit spoilt with the old central locking these days, aren't we? There we go. Look at that, Lada and Proton. Lovely. Oh, it's a bit crazy time in here. All of the bottles. I think my mate Zell has been working on his Citroen Xantia by the look of it. All the LHM bottles. But interesting design of parcel shelf. I quite like an estate with a parcel shelf. I mean, you have the problem of where you put it, but I don't really like those load covers. They don't excite me. But yeah, there is definitely a boot. Bang! Just lock that again, so no one steals his empty bottles of LHM. And we're going to have a nose at the engine. It's a forward tilting bonnet. Oh, that's nice. Locking bar there. But here is the engine. Well, the car was very much a Fiat. Let's go around the other side. The engine was all Lada's own work, and yeah, a very robust engine. Very simple, designed to be very simple to work on. Overhead camshaft, I'm assuming. Anyway, it's kind of got that look about it, hasn't it? It was a record of when stuff was done to this car previously. So yeah, she doesn't do many miles. And yeah, a little blanket to keep the engine warm, that's quite nice. Bang! Proper engineering. Right, if we could climb aboard again, I'll just start the engine. I mean, it's quite a baggy gear change, it appears, but actually it snicks through the gears. That's first, second, third, fourth. It's really precise and snicky because you're going straight into the top of the gearbox. Let's put the key in, start her up. So there you go, we get a flashing light to tell us the handbrake's on. So if I take the handbrake off, that goes away. I'm not sure why they feel the need to make it flash, but what I really like is watch the voltmeter when I put the indicators on. I find that quite sweet. Maybe it's just me. Right, I'll get you strapped up and we'll go for a drive. Right, it's rush hour in Milton Keynes. This is absolutely perfect. Quite a heavy clutch, and here we go. Can fight our way through the traffic. Yeah, it all feels a bit agricultural, but I'm not sure that's a bad thing, to be honest. Oh, feel the power. And that's us up to 50, and I'm going to have to brake. Oh, the brakes are good. If a little uneven perhaps, but then the steering's got so much play in it, it's hard to tell what's steering and what's brakes. The throttle response is a little peculiar. Because it seems to take a while to release fully when you come off the throttle, or maybe the release is just right at the very edge of the travel. Check engine light does come on, just because it's not running quite how it expects to run, because the computers are yeah, it's all a bit different now. It's got fuel injection. But how do we make the windscreen wash, I wonder? Can't be up because it won't go up. Can't be down because that's just going to be on. Where is the screen wash? Is it away? No. Stalk in? No. Oh. I don't know how to make the washers work. Well, now I feel somewhat distressed, to be honest. Oh, there we go. Oh, all is well. It just needs more of a yank than I thought. Got a bit of a triangle of doom going on, which you can't see, but yeah, nothing too serious. Oh, it seems we've only got one speed of wiper, or we've got intermittent, which is on at the moment. There we go. Very little blades, which is not not a very modern trait. I mean, the windscreen generally, the way it curves around at the edges is all a bit old-fashioned, really. Let's turn the fan on. Oh, 2 speeds. Oh gosh, and volcano heat. Well, I guess you'd expect a Russian car to have a good heater. Whoa! But yeah, I mean, the steering is laughable. But yeah, these never were cars designed with the finest handling in mind. But it feels quite pleasant. It's just, compared to the Favre, it feels much older. It really does feel like a 60s car. It's very responsive on the throttle there. This could be done on a roundabout in Milton Keynes. Good amount of torque. It sounds quite appealing, I think. It's got a nice sounding engine. And the gearing feels reasonably tall. I think it'd be a decent car on motorways. Perhaps apart from this steering. Might make keeping in your lane a bit tricky, but yeah, it's all good. I mean, in 1993, I'm not sure I would buy one of these over a Skoda Favorit, if I'm entirely honest, but yeah, this is lovely. It's very charming. Oh, that's third. But we'll go with it. It's not the most accurate of gear changes, if I'm honest, but look at that low down lugging. Oh yeah, you turn it into a bend and the steering becomes a bit heavy. And it manages to feel stiff and a bit wobbly in the bends all at the same time. Oh, speed humps. Whoa, yeah. It's that agricultural feeling again. It hasn't got the floaty ride of the Dacia, I'll say that. Well, it feels a lot more positive in quite a lot of ways. The Dacia is definitely more comfortable. And the seat isn't quite delivering leg support for me. Turns out that handle isn't height. That's what adjusts the backrest angle. Where are we going here? Very good question. Let's go that way. Oh, that's what the horn sounds like. Apparently quite easy to activate. This is the best test drive ever. Right, let's see if we can get another chance to open her up. I'm trying to think when UK sales ended of the Lada. I think the Riva ran until 1997. Yeah, that gearbox is lovely. That is far, far better than the Dacia. Of course, the Dacia was also a 60s design built in the 90s, just 3 years before this car. Ooh. It's not one for pushing on too much. Dodge Ram there. you can make progress. It certainly doesn't feel hopeless. Yeah, I like this a lot. This is actually the first time I've driven a Lada Riva. I've driven Nivas, I've driven a Samara. Not the best Samara in the world, I admit. But it's the first time actually driving a Riva. Let's wind the window up. Oh, well, that takes some doing. Come on in your hideous DS thing. What a revolting looking car. I'll turn the heat down, that's getting positively tropical. Listen to that noise. Not all that much transmission noise either. Nowhere to put my clutch foot other than under the pedal. That is a complaint. Yeah, I really wish I'd owned one of these while they were still available and cheap and stuff. Trying to work out exactly what this taxi's doing. The world's worst 3-point turn by the look of it. Yeah, I think that'd be a fail on your driving test, mate, if I'm honest. Mind you, in Australia or New Zealand, doing this would be considered very wrong. Parking on the opposite curb. Naughty, naughty! There we go. That was surprisingly pleasant. But I know you're expecting one thing and one thing only. Oh, we're not going to get any wash action, I don't think. That's the sort of noise that makes you wonder where the washer fluid's going. Oh. So there you go. That was the Lada Riva. Surprisingly good, I thought. There's some things I prefer in the Favorite. There's some things I prefer in the Dacia. But when it comes to communist developed cars, I really can see what the appeal of these is. It's a shame in the UK they became super rare because as the values plummeted, they just all got exported back to Russia because a lot of them were low miles, like this one, 20,000 miles, and became invaluable as part supports, or they just drove them right and drive and didn't really care. So that's why there are no Ladas left here. They've all vanished. That and the rot, perhaps. But yeah, that's my overall conclusion, is I like it very, very much. That's not the most surprising conclusion in the world ever, is it? But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.